all of you are doing well and taking care of yourselves in these pandemic days. We're here in London and we're living in this beautiful serviced apartment in downtown, and we finished with our 10 days of quarantine. We arrived here on 18th of January, finished with the 10 days of quarantine where we didn't even go outside of the door. And then we just took a walk around. So yeah, I'm very excited to show you around the home that we're going to do a tour of at the end of the video, and also what's around here and how we spent our 15 days in London since we've come here. So let's go, I'll show you everything.
We arrived on 18th January from New York JFK to London Heathrow, basically from one COVID hotspot to another. It was raining as usual when we landed in London, and on the ground there were several notice boards and floor stickers reminding passengers of social distancing. There was a queue from a flight that had landed from Delhi at the immigration, and that was possibly our only exposure to crowd because the flight had only 22 passengers seated really far away from each other, and the airports were largely empty. Outside at the south meeting point, our cab drivers were waiting for us with a nameplate. We drove through central London towards our pre-booked serviced apartment next to the Tower of London. I was back in London after 25 years, and I was happy that I could identify some old and some new landmarks on our way. That is the Trafalgar Square, and that at the distance is the London Eye. We reached our hotel in 2 cabs and informed the staff of our 10 days of self-isolation, which meant that we won't receive any house cleaning for that duration. On the 2nd floor, at the end of this long corridor, which had a lot of large black and white photos of the Tower Bridge, was our apartment. The kids and I were really happy to find a fairly large apartment with a balcony and a view. We ordered Nando's on Deliveroo. That's an app that somebody had told us about. We didn't have Nando's in US, so I was pretty excited to have their chicken here. To be honest, the portion sizes were really small as compared to what we're used to having in the US. So later we ordered groceries through Amazon, just like we did in the US, and I started cooking on this really small yet functional kitchen of the apartment. On the 11th day, with our quarantine ending and the housekeeping done, we went downstairs to check our geographic coordinates. We were absolutely delighted to find the Tower of London right in front of us. Next to it was the Tower of London souvenir shop, and a turn around the building led us to the most magnificent Shard, which is a 72-story skyscraper housing many offices, hotels and eateries, providing breathtaking views of the London city. We kept revisiting the Tower of London for the next few days. I find it really intriguing how the old and the new coexist in this part of London. The Tower of London is almost 1,000 years old and is named after its oldest building, the White Tower, built by William the Conqueror in 1066. Afterwards, many kings and queens have added to this castle over many centuries. Today, it's open to tourists who can explore many of its ancient walls. The Tower of London also houses the crown jewels. I remember visiting the Tower of London 25 years ago in 1995, and how I was disappointed at getting just under 1 second to view the famous Kohinoor diamond mounted on a crown placed in a huge glass box along with other crowns by a moving conveyor walkway for the visitor. Temporarily closed these days, the huge space is being used by runners and fitness enthusiasts. That's the Millennium Pier, where we see an Uber boat make a stop every day. And next to it, the most iconic, defining landmark of London, the Tower Bridge, built between 1886 and 1894, over the River Thames, which, by the way, is the longest river in England, and has been at the centre of its trade with the Commonwealth and the world at large. Across the river is the City Hall, and the offices of Ernst & Young and PricewaterhouseCoopers. And of course, the imposing Shard. On this side of the river is a long walkway called the Three Quay Walkway, which takes you to West London. I see a few cyclists and walkers on this way, but I'm sure had it not been for lockdown, we would have seen a lot more. This city has been under lockdown ever since we arrived. Nobody is to be seen outside other than for some kind of physical activity or for getting groceries. We've also been just mostly indoors, going downstairs to take a walk once in a while. Like that night when we went for a walk. It was drizzling lightly and the haze of the lights was so beautiful. The relocation has been particularly tough for these two. It's not that we had been doing a lot of outdoor activities in the US, but at least they had their friends. With the city under lockdown, there's not much you can do outdoors. I try to keep them busy indoors with coloring, painting, making my little one learn how to write, and clicking, of course, a lot of funny, silly pictures against the beautiful backdrop. Anusha loves to eat her breakfast by the kitchen table, while Tushar loves reading a book next to that large window overlooking the river. As for me, I can't complain at all. I have the most amazing view of the river while I chop vegetables, cook food, listen to songs, or talk to my parents. This has been such a lifesaver, especially under lockdown when there's nowhere to go and when everything is closed. This has been a blessing. The kids love watching this little boat pulling a raft full of containers into the London city in the morning, and the same boat pulling an empty raft in the evening. The tower is flooded with lights in the night, and the illuminated skyline of central London as viewed from the Tower Bridge definitely aids in uplifting your mood, especially if you've struggled to keep the kids fruitfully engaged indoors. And now, as promised, I'll do a video tour of the house with you all. Thankfully, I could make this video when we had just arrived and hadn't unpacked our suitcases and before the kids sprang onto the spring beds. So these are the two closets as you enter, and on the left side is a nice study area and a utility room with washer dryer. On the left, that's the first bedroom. Fairly large bedroom by London standards, I think, and that's a nice table overlooking the river. This little area in the room has been converted into my husband's office now, and these are the wardrobes with a lot of storage space and other utility items and drawers, hangers, using these for keeping my kids close these days. That's the common bathroom with a nice large bathtub, and the other ensuite bathroom with a nice shower. The second bedroom has well-designed wardrobes. I really like these large wardrobes. It's almost like a walk-in closet. In the corner, they've used the corner space as well, and they've given us bath towels and slippers, etc. This room also has a balcony and a TV and a desk. Coming to the living room, it's got a nice big sofa, very comfortable, and an open plan kitchen, which I really like. It has all the nice appliances with really clean, neat refrigerator, fridge, dishwasher. That's the recycling bin, and lots of cutlery, spoons, serveware, coffee machine, microwave, oven, tray. And the island has all these cup plates, saucers, bowls, jugs, and I'm trying to look for vessels, and that's where I find all the utensils. because I hadn't carried any with me and I was wondering how I'll cook food till I saw them. This is a nice hamper that they left in the room. A side table, and that's the balcony from the living room where they've put 2 nice chairs where you can sit and relax. And as I said earlier, I couldn't be more grateful for this beautiful view from our living room, where we end up spending most of our time indoors these days. That's it, folks. If you've enjoyed watching this video, do like it. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.